Waves of destiny, return. Carefully, I began feeding her the seaweed. At first, the baby hesitated, but then she started to eat, her tiny hands clutching at the food. Her cries softened and soon stopped altogether. I watched in amazement as she eagerly devoured the seaweed, her big eyes closing in contentment, her small body relaxing with each tiny breath. "Thank goodness," I whispered, feeling tension melt away. As she finished, she looked up at me, her wide eyes blinking in quiet wonder, her tiny hands reaching to touch my face. I hugged her close, savoring the warmth of her against my chest. For a brief moment, everything else faded away. Her safety and contentment were the only things that mattered. I sat with her for a while, just gazing into her big, curious eyes. She stared back, silently studying my face, and I marveled at how calm she seemed out of the water. Time passed, but I wasn't afraid. Her breathing was steady, and somehow I knew she was fine. The realization that she could breathe out of water for so long filled me with awe, but her tiny smile reassured me. It was as if she knew I needed that comfort. In her innocent gaze, I found an unexpected peace. Suddenly, I was jolted awake by a soft knock at the door. I blinked in confusion, realizing the room was brighter than before. Morning? When did I fall asleep? "Amma, are you almost ready?" My mother's voice called from the other side of the door. My heart leapt into my throat, and panic washed over me. The baby! I hadn't put her back in the tub. I scrambled out of bed, rushing to check the bathroom. But when I got inside, relief hit me. She was there, sound asleep beneath the water, her chest rising and falling peacefully. I sighed, clutching my chest, my heart finally calming. But my reprieve was short-lived. "Amma!" my mother called again, her voice more insistent. "Exams! Let's not be late!" Her words shot my nerves to pieces. My exams! I hadn't studied. My pulse spiked again as I stared at my untouched books from the night before, still lying open on my desk. Useless now. I'd been so consumed with everything else, I hadn't had enough time. Mom called once more, this time with a hint of worry. There was no time to think. I needed to act. I had to get the baby back into the pool before my parents realized anything was off. She had never escaped the pool before, so it was safer there than in the tub. Seizing my moment, I slipped past my parents, settling the baby in the pool outside. I grabbed a quick breakfast and rushed to get ready for school, my mind racing. I barely had a plan, but I had no choice. I just had to keep it together. Rushing to my exam, my stomach churned with anxiety. My mind was a blur, consumed by the nagging thought that I hadn't prepared enough. The fear of failure loomed over me like a dark cloud, making it impossible to focus on the test in front of me. Each question felt like a reminder of my inadequacy. Hours later, I was chauffeured back home and stumbled toward the pool, my heart heavy with dread over what my grades would look like. I went straight to the baby, relieved when I found her safe and sound. But there was still no sign of Kweku. Taking the baby back to the bathtub, I gazed out the window, feeling an overwhelming sadness and a gnawing sense of unease. "Kweku, where are you?" I whispered. "Has something happened to you because of your brother?" As darkness cloaked the sky, I noticed a faint silhouette by the shore. My breath hitched, a tightness spreading through my chest as I recognized the familiar shape of Marina. She was back? The fear was paralyzing. I watched, rooted to the spot, as she placed something on Kweku's rock, and then her figure dissolved into the night. Once the coast seemed clear, I crept outside, my footsteps barely making a sound on the sand. I approached the rock, my pulse quickening with each step. There, gleaming softly in the moonlight, was a conch shell. I picked it up with trembling fingers, and inside, nestled like a hidden treasure, was more seaweed. I returned to my room and the baby, and we sat by the window, staring out at the dark, moonlit ocean, waiting for Kweku. But he never came. The baby's excited giggles from the bathtub woke me as the morning sun streamed through my window. I had a moment to wonder why she was laughing so happily. Then I heard the softest call of my name, like a whisper on the wind. "Amma." Kweku! I blurted, and launched from the bed to peer out my window, and there he was, sitting on his rock by the seashore, looking up at my window, waiting for me. My heart leaped with joy and relief. I scooped the baby from the tub, and with her clutched tightly to my chest, I rushed toward the stairs. Wait! What if my parents were around? I froze on the landing, listening for any sign of movement. Hearing none, I hurried down, my heart pounding from more than just nerves. He's back! Kweku's finally back! It felt like an eternity since I'd last seen him. So much had happened in his absence. Dax, Marina, the baby, the fear that something had gone horribly wrong beneath the waves. All that uncertainty, all that waiting had finally come to an end. Now that Kweku was here, everything seemed to fall back into place. When I saw him sitting there, as if no time had passed, he looked even more surreal than I remembered. Had he always been that impossibly dark, that insanely handsome? His black skin contrasted sharply with the morning light, like a piece of the night carved out and placed on the shore. His long black dreadlocks spilled over his broad shoulders, swaying gently in the breeze. His chocolate brown eyes, warm yet intense, seemed to glow. Below him, his shimmering green tail draped over the rock, the iridescent scales catching the sunlight in a mesmerizing dance. I gently placed the baby in his arms, watching the way his eyes softened the moment he saw her. Kweku's gaze lifted to mine. A mixture of weariness and tenderness flickered in his eyes, and in that instant, I realized just how much I had truly missed him. His arm pulled me close, one hand cradling the baby, while the other wrapped protectively around my waist. "I missed you, Amma," he whispered, his lips brushing softly against my hair. "I didn't realize how much I needed you until I was gone." Every moment away felt like I was losing pieces of myself. Now that I'm back, it feels like I can finally breathe again. My breath caught as his words sank in. I had been holding everything together for so long, trying not to fall apart. But now, in his embrace, with his warmth surrounding me, I felt so safe. For the first time since he left, I knew everything was going to be all right. "I was so worried," I whispered, feeling the tension in my body begin to melt. "Where have you been? What happened down there? Were you fighting? Were you hurt? What happened with Dax? How could you just leave me like that after what I saw and for so long?" He had been gone for so long, and each passing hour had intensified my anxiety. Kweku sighed, his expression suddenly a blend of exhaustion and regret. "I'm sorry, Amma. I didn't want to worry you, but things are complicated. I realize now you want to know more, and I know it's unfair given what you've seen recently, but can you give me some time? I promise I'll explain everything, just not yet. Right now, I just need to hold you." He seemed so weary in that moment, as if the weight of the world was bearing down on him. As he pulled me close, I could feel that same exhaustion radiating from him, seeping into me. It scared me. I understood it might be too soon for him to dive into all of the details, whatever he had been through while he was gone, but I would give him time. Still, it wasn't just that I needed answers. There was something I had to tell him. Dax had been here. Kweku pulled me into him, and I sank into his warmth. Letting him hold me, I had no idea I could be so worried, but now finally here he was, holding his daughter, holding me, safe and sound. Yet his one-armed hug wasn't enough. I needed more, needed to feel him completely, to anchor myself in his presence and banish the lingering fear. Without hesitation, I wrapped my arms tightly around his neck, pressing myself against his wet, warm, solid frame. His embrace tightened, and for a heartbeat, the world around us vanished. Overcome with a rush of emotion, I kissed him, pouring every ounce of pent-up longing and relief into that moment. He responded instantly, meeting my need with equal intensity. His lips were warm and soft against mine, each passing second of the kiss more intoxicating than the last. We lingered there, our breaths entwined in a symphony of yearning and reassurance. Waves of emotion crashed through me, leaving me breathless and utterly captivated. The sudden silence of the baby, no longer giggling, broke the spell, causing us to look down at her with concern. It took only a moment to realize she was simply gazing up at us with wide, curious eyes, as if amused by the kiss. We both burst out laughing, the sound mingling with the waves crashing against the shore. "I wonder what she understands from this," I said, grinning at her. "She wants you to kiss me again." Kweku grinned. I felt my cheeks flush. "But first," he said, "let me catch my breath." "Give me a moment, Amma." Kweku turned and prepared to dive into the sea, cradling the baby. "Hold on," I said quickly. "You can leave her with me. She'll be fine." He looked at me, puzzled, as I gently took her from his arms. "Amma." He hesitated, worry etched on his face. "It's all right," I reassured him. "She can breathe out of water. I'll explain when you're back." With a final glance, he dived in. Moments later, he resurfaced on the rock. His eyes immediately searched for her, and when he saw her safe in my arms, his concern melted into relief. His expression softened as he looked at his daughter, relief shifting into understanding. "Amma, you've done it," he said, awe filling his voice. "It's the bond between you two." His eyes shimmered with pride. "Your essence has allowed her to breathe out of water. She's taking on your characteristics, Amma." His smile was so proud it made me blush. He kept watching the baby, still unsure of how long she could stay out of the water, but as time passed and she remained fine, his amazement only grew. "She even looks like you now," Kweku added with a chuckle. "I didn't think she could get any cuter, but she has." I blinked, glancing down at the baby. What? That's not possible. Babies don't just—" "It's true," he interrupted, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Look at her hair. It's exactly like yours." I let out a disbelieving laugh, shaking my head. "No way. That has nothing to do with me." "Oh, it absolutely does. You've officially made her cuter." His grin widened, and with a soft, appreciative look, he added, "Honestly, I shouldn't be surprised. With how beautiful you are, some of it was bound to rub off on her." I rolled my eyes, trying not to smile, but the warmth of his teasing melted my reluctance. "Okay, fine. Maybe she is getting cuter, but I'm not taking credit for it." Kweku's gaze and his attention remained fully on me now. The silence between us felt comfortable, yet charged with unspoken words. After a moment, I continued quietly. "The other night, I was sitting on the floor with her, and I felt something strange. At first, it scared me. There was a warmth in my chest, a swirling sensation I couldn't explain. I looked at the baby, and she was staring up at me, perfectly content. The longer I held her, the more I realized she was fine out of water because of me. As long as I was holding her, she could breathe." Kweku shared a tender smile as he watched the baby grasp his finger, her tiny hand squeezing it gently. "It's extraordinary," he murmured, his voice filled with awe. "It feels like she's a part of me," I confessed. "Like she's the most vulnerable part of me. I feel so protective over her. I'd do anything for her." I could barely contain the excitement bubbling up as I continued, my eyes lighting up. "Something else incredible happened while I was sitting with her," I said, my voice lifting with wonder. A name came to me, out of nowhere. It was like this warmth in my chest, this radiant feeling, and I just knew it was perfect for her. I leaned in closer, my words rushing out. "She's always so serene, so content, whether she's awake or sleeping peacefully. And the name, it just fits." Kweku's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Before you say it, let me check something," he said softly, gesturing toward my chest. "Do you mind?" "Okay, sure," I replied, my curiosity piqued by the sudden shift in his demeanor. He leaned closer, his touch gentle as he placed his hand over my heart, his fingers warm against my skin. "What are you doing?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Shh," he murmured, eyes closed, his focus entirely on me. "I'm trying to hear the name. to see if it's in your heart. I hear better this way while on land." His touch was like a gentle fire, sending warmth cascading through me, creating a connection that ran deeper than anything words could express. Every second under his hand felt like a tender caress on a part of me I didn't even know existed, a secret place he had unlocked. My pulse quickened, my mind wandering to thoughts more intimate than I intended. "So, this is how you do it out of water?" I teased, a grin pulling at my lips despite the heat rising in my chest. Kweku's eyes flickered open, a smirk dancing on his lips. "Let's focus on the name first," he said, chuckling softly. "But if you're still curious later, I can show you how we do it both in and out of water." My mind reeled at the implication, heat flooding my cheeks. I laughed, half in embarrassment, half in excitement, and playfully shoved his hand away. "Stop listening." His laughter filled the space between us, but then his expression softened, his eyes holding mine. "What did you hear?" I asked, my voice trembling with both dread and curiosity. "Not what I was supposed to," he replied, amusement tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Oh, no!" I screeched, covering my face in mortification. "You heard it all?" He nodded, his playful smirk turning serious as he gazed at me. "You started it," he teased gently. "All I wanted was to hear the name. But now that I know, well, let's just say I'm fine with all of the above." I laughed again, relief mixing with lingering embarrassment. Kweku's smirk deepened as he added, "For that last part, though, we might need to take additional precautions for my sake." He winked. My breath caught at the suggestion, and I couldn't help but squirm inwardly. He closed his eyes again, his hand returning to my chest. This time, I tried my hardest to focus solely on the name, praying it was all he could hear. But despite my best efforts, his smile betrayed the truth. He was still hearing every single thought, every stubborn, sensual thought that wouldn't leave my mind. My mind kept thrumming around what exactly those precautions might be, and I squirmed. "It's perfect," Kweku said at last, his eyes locking with mine. "So beautiful, Amma." His expression was a blend of pride and wonder, clearly amazed that I had come up with such a fitting name. "Are you sure?" I asked, my voice laced with uncertainty. "Positive," he replied, glowing with certainty. "Are you ready?" he asked, his gaze shifting to the baby. "Let's say it together." I nodded, excitement bubbling inside me. Together, we turned to the baby, our voices merging as we spoke in unison. "Nira." She responded with a heart-melting smile, a pure and radiant expression that filled the air. "That's it?" I asked after a moment of silence. Kweku looked surprised, but quickly smiled. "Yes." "Well, that was a bit anticlimactic," I teased. "I was expecting something magical, maybe a burst of glitter or some celestial music." All she did was smile. Kweku chuckled softly. Sometimes a smile is the most magical thing of all. I raised an eyebrow, feigning dramatics. "Really? No sparkling lights or otherworldly soundtracks?" He grinned, the playful twinkle in his eye matching mine. "Sorry to disappoint, Amma. But trust me, her smile is more magical than any enchantment. Without you, that smile wouldn't exist." His voice softened, sincerity radiating through. "It's more beautiful and miraculous than any spell, and even after 1,000 years, I'll never take it for granted." His words wrapped around me like a warm embrace, filling me with a sense of profound connection. Kweku's deep, genuine belief in me left me speechless, my heart swelling with emotion. He believed so much in my worth and impact that it was almost overwhelming. "You don't have to say anything, Amma," he said, his gaze steady and reassuring. "Just know that, after everything you've done, you are truly her mother." I offered him a trembling smile, my voice barely audible. "Kweku, I don't even know what to say." Reaching out, He gently brushed away a tear that had slipped down my cheek. "You mean everything to us," he whispered, his eyes flicking toward the baby. "More than you'll ever know." Tears welled in my eyes, but I blinked them away, not wanting to shatter the delicate magic of the moment. "Nira," I whispered again, letting the name roll softly off my lips. She looked up at me with a gaze so full of understanding, it was almost as if she knew exactly what I was saying. In that moment, as the soft sound of the waves surrounded us, I felt a shift within. I realized that this baby, Nira, wasn't just a name. She was a blessing, a gift that had completely altered the course of my life. Kweku's love felt like the ocean, vast and unfathomable. I couldn't truly comprehend it, but in that moment, as he held me and our daughter, I sensed the depth of it, endless as the sea that birthed him. He placed a hand on my shoulder, his touch anchoring me in the moment. "Amma, you have no idea how much you've given us. The bond you've created with her is beyond incredible." I took a deep breath, emotions swirling inside me like a storm. I never thought something like this was possible. But now that it's happened, I believe it, I confessed. "You've done it, Amma," Kweku said, his voice brimming with pride. "Your connection with Naira is stronger than I ever imagined." A surge of warmth rushed through me at his words. This bond, this unexplainable connection with Naira, had become something sacred, something I hadn't expected, but now couldn't imagine living without. "Speaking of bonds," I began, my thoughts drifting back to Queen Makita. "She touched my chest, just like you did. She seemed satisfied, as if she could feel something there. She said I could bridge your world, and that Nira and I could shape the future. When she touched me, it was like she sensed something." "Do you know what that was?" Kweku sighed, his eyes dark and serious. "Amma, I didn't want to overwhelm you with too much, too soon. Everything that's happened, it's more complex than you can imagine." He shifted slightly on the rock and gestured for me to sit beside him, cradling the baby. As I settled next to him, he continued, his tone cautious, yet filled with reverence. "I've watched you walk alone by the shore every day," he began softly. "Your spirit is always calm, like the gentle lull of the sea at dawn. There's a peace about you, untouched by the chaos of the world, that connects you to something deeper, a boundless source of love and strength. You're content in your own company, not out of loneliness, but because of the immense power and serenity you carry within." I blinked, absorbing his words, feeling both exposed and comforted by his insight. "Your empathy, your integrity, the way you move through life with such quiet grace, it's rare. And that strength, that quiet determination, that's what my mother sensed in you. It's a power, Amma, a power unlike any other." "Power?" I echoed, feeling a wave of confusion wash over me. "In our world, there's something we call the mirth," Kweku explained, his voice soft but certain. "Mirth? What is that?" "It's the core power within every merfolk. In your world, you might call it the spirit. But stronger than mirth is Aqualith," he continued, his eyes locking onto mine. "Aqualith is only possessed by royalty. It's the proof of supreme power. The markings you see on me when I'm submerged, the glow in my eyes, that's my Aqualith." "Aqualith," I repeated, the word feeling foreign yet deeply significant. Kweku nodded. "Yes, it's a rare and powerful essence. It commands respect when I reveal it, as it shows the true power within me, the very essence of who I am. Like what you did with the Merman," I realized aloud, remembering how he had controlled the crowd with just his presence and glowing tattoos. "Exactly," he confirmed. "It's also how we're drawn to our mates. Royals are only called to mates who possess Aqualith, a match to their own." He paused, his voice growing quieter, almost hesitant. "My mate, Dala. Her aqualith matched mine, but his voice faltered, the pain surfacing in his eyes. You don't have to say it again, I whispered, reaching out to him as he struggled with the memory. Kweku nodded, grateful for the understanding. After a long moment, he finally spoke. Right now, there are only 3 merfolk with aqualith, my mother, myself, and my daughter. He looked at me, his expression shifting from wonder to something even deeper. And then there's you, Amma. Me? I asked. Somehow you have aqualith. Not only that, but your aqualith matches mine. His voice grew thick with emotion. I searched for you because you called to me. Your essence, it called to me, Amma.